for it's another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Hello, friends, and welcome to this Week 2 edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock here as well. And Week 2 of the NFL season kicking off last night with Thursday Night Football, the season premiere of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. It was a matchup of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte with Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, and Christina Pink. And Tampa Bay coming away with the win, 20-14. The Bucs improved to 1-1. The Panthers dropped to 0-2. That's not good because we all know whenever a team starts 0-2, their chances of making the postseason are very slim. So we'll have to wait to see if anything develops out of that. But 20-14, Tampa Bay defeating Carolina last night on Thursday Night Football. So without any further ado, let's get into the rest of the Week 2 slate. And we started off with a matchup of the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. And, of course, this game will be over on Fox. And bear with me for a moment. Just trying to... Okay. And on the call for this one will be a brand new team, an interesting team here. Brandon Gaudin, who works for the Big Ten Network. Brandon Gaudin is going to be on the call for this, along with Chris Carter, NFL Hall of Famer Chris Carter, and Peter Schrager on the sidelines. Baltimore opening up as a 13-point favorite. And the Ravens lead the all-time series between these two, 4-2. They last met in 2015 in Arizona. Arizona won that 26-18. They last met in Baltimore in 2011. Baltimore won that one 30-27. Arizona has only won in Baltimore once, and that was their very first meeting, the first time these teams ever met back in 97. Arizona won that 16-13. So all the schematics out of the way. Let's get into the notes here. What you need to know, just like we did last week. You know, what you need to know in the whole 9 yards. And all right, here we go. Bear with me. It's frozen. So just give me 1 second here. Got a lot of information up here. So just waiting for the secure connection, and we'll be ready to go here. So, okay. Now you can make an argument now that you know a lot of people could consider this as an eliminator, if you will. I mean, you could really honestly consider it. So, all right, I think we got everything up and running here. So, okay. What to watch for? See if we can get it here. Got a lot of cachets in the whole 9 yards. All right. Goodness gracious, what is wrong with this thing? All right, hold on. Arizona, Baltimore, where are you? Okay. What to watch for? How will the Ravens defend the air raid offense with their banged-up secondary? Cornerback Jimmy Smith with an ankle and nickelback Tavon Young neck are out Sunday, and top corner Marlon Humphrey with a back is not at full strength. The Cardinals will test the depth of the Baltimore secondary as they used at least 4 wide receivers on 58 plays in Week 1. Bold prediction, Arizona quarterback Kyler Murray will throw for more than 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Murray showed just what he's capable of during the fourth quarter in Week 1. It's safe to say that Coach Cliff Kingsbury learned his lesson and won't be as creative early on in Baltimore. Stat to know, Lamar Jackson enters the matchup at 7-1 as a starting quarterback. Only 12 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era have started their careers at 8-1 or better through 9 starts. What to know for fantasy? In Week 1, Jackson had more touchdown passes, 5, than rush attempts, 3. In his rookie season, Jackson had 6 touchdown passes and 147 rushing attempts. The betting nugget, Baltimore is 31-0 all-time, straight up as a double-digit favorite, the only active franchise to never lose such a game. However, it is 3-10 against the spread in the past 13 such games. FPI prediction, Baltimore, 85.7% favorite. Needless to say, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this game. I'm going to say they will win this one 38-24. No trouble here. They're going to keep on rolling after what they did in Miami last week. Sorry, MF, but you knew it was coming. So that's all there is to say on that. 38-24, Baltimore over Arizona. Nothing more to say. Good old MF. Unfortunately, you had to see it last week. You had to see the bloodbath with your own eyes. And you were like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? I bet you couldn't wait for that game to end last week.
You have no idea. Look, Baltimore is a really good team. We knew that. A lot of people thought that, with Cleveland and everything else. And we'll get into Cleveland tonight. But I think my prediction of Baltimore winning the division is starting to look a lot more better than it looked about a week ago. I think a lot of people weren't really too, like I said, I wasn't really too sure, but after what I saw in week 1, there's now no doubts in my mind Baltimore is going to win the division. I'm calling it now. They looked really good. They dominated. Yeah. At the end of the first quarter, it was 28-0 Baltimore over Miami. They just ran the ball all over the place, and they threw it. Hollywood Brown, man, this kid's going to end up being the rookie of the year. Like, he was unbelievable what he did in that first game. Unbelievable. I really got nothing more to say. I got Baltimore winning pretty handily, so Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and here's another thing you guys are forgetting to mention. Who's on the Arizona Cardinals now that used to be on the Baltimore Ravens?
T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, so it's gonna be so weird to see Terrell Suggs going up against his former team. So yeah, I mean, the Baltimore Ravens with what they did to Miami, I mean, that was just flat out embarrassing. I mean, but you also got to give credit to the Ravens for what they did, not just offensively, but defensively as well. So, yeah, and then, of course, when it comes to the Cardinals, I mean, yeah, they didn't look that good early, but you got to give credit to Kyler Murray. I mean, he led this team down the field, and yes, it ended in a tie, but I was actually really impressed with him. So now he's going to face a really tough test with this Ravens defense, and yeah, I think it's going to be a tough go for him. So I got the Baltimore Ravens winning as well. I'm going to go 38-24 as well. I mean, they're not going to put up a 50 burger like they did last week, but they'll score just about the 38 points. I think it's going to be good enough for them to win this game. So nothing more to say, Florio. Let's move on.
And last week, in that demolishing of the Dolphins, 59 points, a brand new Ravens franchise record, surpassing their previous record of 55 that they put up against the Raiders in 2012. So MF on the wrong side of history on that one. But well, let's move on here. Speaking of history, here are two teams that have Super Bowl history. They met in 2 Super Bowls over the years. Maybe not as attractive as it was 30 years ago, but they meet again here. We got the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals, Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. This game will be on Fox. Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake on the call. Bengals opening up as a 1-point favorite. That's all. And the series history favors the 49ers 9-4. Their last meeting was in 2015 in San Francisco. Bengals won that one 24-14. Their last meeting in Cincinnati was 2011. 49ers won an ugly game, 13-8. Their last time the Bengals won at home against the Niners was 2003, a 5-star classic, a 41-38 shootout back in 2003. And of course, you remember this game will obviously, for all of us, especially me, being the historian, is going to conjure up a lot of memories of their 2 Super Bowl matchups in Super Bowl 16 at the old Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Niners won that 26-21. But the Super Bowl that everybody best remembers, of course, Super Bowl 23 in Miami, that 5-star classic that the Niners won 20-16, Montana to Taylor. We all know it. So nothing more to say here. MF, like I said, it's not as attractive as it was 30 years ago, but a lot of history here. Very tough spread, only a 1-point spread for the Bengals. This is basically a pick 'em, if you would.
Well, the reason why is because the Cincinnati Bengals had a tough luck loss of a really good game, if you really think about it. Only lost by 1 point, 21-20 last week to the Seattle Seahawks, but the game was in Seattle. But if you really think about it, Andy Dalton, we always talk about Seattle's defense and the Legion of Boom and everything else, but Andy Dalton had an incredible game. 35 of 51, 418 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but there's a big problem. And this is why I think the line is a little low. Joe Mixon right now is hurt. He has an ankle injury. We don't know if he's going to go on Sunday. They might have to rely on Giovanni Bernard if that's the case. Plus, with Jimmy Garoppolo, who didn't have a great game, you think he's going to have a bounce-back game. You got also the top running back for the Niners hurt. That means Matt Breida is going to be in it. So it's going to be who's receiving core is going to step up. Is Greg Kittle going to show up? He had 10 catches for 54 yards. John Ross the third. Oh my God! If you had him on fantasy, holy cow! You had a great day on last week. 12 catches, 158, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. At the end of the day, I gotta go Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati will just have enough to get the bye and win the game. My final score is 17-14. The Cincinnati Bengals knocks off the 49ers. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of history with the 49ers and the Bengals going back to the old days when they met the Super Bowl. And yeah, I mean, for Andy Dalton, I mean, he had such a good game last week and came up on the short end. I mean, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for the Cincinnati Bengals, especially for Andy Dalton. And then, of course, with the 49ers, I mean, they got the win last week, but Jimmy Garoppolo, like you said, he didn't even have that good of a game. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, like you said, with both key running backs on both sides, who knows what their statuses are going to be, but who's going to step up when it comes to the receiving side? We're just going to have to wait and see. But I'm going to give a slight edge to the Bengals. I got them winning this one. I'm going to say 20-17 is going to be my final score. So nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
What to watch for? San Francisco created 4 turnovers in the win over Tampa Bay, including 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. The 49ers will be a good test for a revamped Bengals offense under rookie head coach Zach Taylor. In last week's loss to the Seahawks, as MF mentioned, the Bengals, mainly Andy Dalton, racked up 418 passing yards. Bold prediction, the 49ers will get 5 sacks. San Francisco sacked Jameis Winston 3 times last week, but it could have been more had Winston not been so adept at evading the rush. Andy Dalton isn't as slippery, and the Bengals yielded 5 sacks to Seattle in their first game. Stat to know, San Francisco only made 2 interceptions last season, the fewest by any team since 1940. But then it picked off 3 passes in a Week 1 win to start 2019. The Niners have not had multiple interceptions in each of their first 2 games of a season since 1974. What to know for fantasy? Bengals receiver John Ross III has caught 7 touchdown passes in his past 8 games played without A.J. Green. And the betting nugget? San Francisco is 5-12 against the spread in 1 o'clock games since 2015. But San Francisco, however, gentlemen, is the FPI favorite, 54.1%. It's a very tough game to call. I'm not that confident about the spread. And after how good the Niners looked to me last week, I mean, I would not be surprised if Cincy were to win. But I'm taking a chance here, and I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers to win this game, guys. My final score, I'm going to go 27-23. San Francisco over Cincinnati. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our next matchup. First one over on the CBS side of things, the mothership. MF, we got to figure out what our game of the week is going to be because I have no clue because we got dealt the bad side of the hand on this one. But in due time, we'll figure it out, and I know MF will let me know, and then we'll do our routine. I don't know if this is it, but we'll see. Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. This one on CBS, as I mentioned. We have Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and Jay Feely on the call. The Chargers opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. Chargers also lead the all-time series 7-4. Their last meeting was 2015 in San Diego, and the Chargers won that one 33-28. Last meeting in Detroit was back in 2011. Lions won that one going away 38-10. Chargers have not won in Detroit since 2003, a 14-7 final. So nothing more to say here. Michael Bullock, come on in. Schematics out of the way. Chargers surviving the Colts in a wild overtime game, whereas the Lions had everything well in control, but then Darrell Bevell, stupid idiot muttonhead, calls a timeout, and it gave Arizona all the momentum, and they ended up in a tie, a game they should have won.
And you think, Florio, you would think that Darrell Bevell would have learned from, ironically, in the same building what happened in Super Bowl 49. You would have thought so, but damn, I can't believe he screwed up on that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, both teams really had a rough go of it. I mean, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, yeah, I mean, they had the game well in hand. Everybody thought it was going to be an easy win for them, but yeah, it was anything but easy for the LA Chargers. I mean, a 15-point lead midway through the third quarter. Yeah, and then of course and salvage a victory. They got the victory on Austin Eckler's third touchdown with 5:01 left in the extra period. So yeah, obviously the defense has a lot of work to do. I mean, Gus Bradley definitely has some work to do. And yeah, with Detroit, I mean, definitely, yeah, they had the game well in hand until Florio just mentioned about what happened. I mean, yeah, of course, yeah. So I mean, the thing is, of course, the running game I thought was good last week for the Chargers, and yeah, I think they're going to have to rely on Eckler once again. And the Chargers, they've been going on the road, especially in the last 6 road games in last year. So, yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Chargers do this week. So I got them winning this one. I'm going to say my final score here is going to be, I'm going to go 34 to 20. The Chargers beat the Lions, and I'm gonna say this, guys, and I don't know if you're gonna agree with me on this, but if Detroit loses this game, I think Matt Patricia, I think he's going to be on the hot seat. Florio, it is yours.
Well, there's a bold prediction right there from Bullock, but we'll get to the bold prediction for this game in just a moment. Excuse me. What to watch for? After 154 all-purpose yards last week, Chargers running back Austin Ekeler will face a good defensive front in Detroit. If Ekeler can shake loose against the Lions, it could be a long day for Detroit because it would open up even more passing lanes for Phillip Rivers. Bold prediction. Joey Bosa records 3 sacks. The Chargers should heat up the pass rush against the Lions offensive line that allowed 3 Matthew Stafford sacks in the team's season opener against the Cardinals. The stat to know, Phillip Rivers has posted a total QBR of 80 on the road last season, the second best number in the NFL. And the Lions lost 4 of their final 5 home games last season and scored 16 points or fewer in each of the 4 losses. What to know for fantasy? Austin Ekeler racked up 39.4 fantasy points last week, a total that is 3.3 points higher than Melvin Gordon's career high. And the betting nugget? The LA Chargers are 16-8-2 against the spread in its past 26 regular season games that start at 1 o'clock. And the Chargers, very slim favorite, according to the FPI, 49.9%. Nonetheless, I'm going with the Los Angeles Chargers to win this one. 30-23, LA Chargers over the Detroit Lions. And this is a game, MF, that you can make an argument. This could be one of the games of the week on our end. But, like I said, we got dealt the bad hand, whereas Fox got loaded.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. I think the Chargers are going to win the game. You make some very valid points, but Michael Bullock is also right about one thing, that if they lose this game, if Detroit loses it, I think Matt Patricia might be in big trouble. Yeah, he might be in, like you said, he actually might be in that proverbial hot seat, like he said. So yeah, no doubt about it. Nothing more to say. I got the Chargers winning. So Anthony, next game.
I said Fox was loaded, and here's one of their games of the week. I could consider this their number 2 game of the week. Based on the body of work, there's only one that's more exciting. We already know what that is. That's, of course, the game of the week. We'll get into that in a little while. But for right now, here is, the first of their huge games of the week right here. Old school NFC North style showdown. It's going to be a fun one. Always is. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, Laura Oakman, they will have the call of that one. And the Packers, Green Bay, opening up as 2.5-point favorites. Series history favors the Green Bay Packers 59-53 with 3 ties, including a tie last year. This very week, week 2 last year, these two teams played to a 29-29 tie at Lambeau in a 5-star classic of a game. Minnesota last won at Lambeau in 2017, 16-0. The Packers last beat the Vikings at home in 2016, 38-25. I believe that was a Christmas Eve game, if I recall. So with all that being said, let's get down to this business here. What to watch for? The Packers want to run the ball more like the Vikings did last week and improve on the 2.1 yards a carry that Green Bay averaged against the Bears last week. Okay, maybe the Packers won't be looking to run 38 times with only 10 passes like Minnesota did Sunday against Atlanta. But Coach Matt LaFleur has put an emphasis on the run game this week. But it won't be easy executing against another potential top 10 defense. Bold prediction, both quarterbacks will be sacked a minimum of 4 times. Minnesota has sacked Aaron Rodgers an average of 4 times a game since 2015. The improvements the Packers have made to their defensive front forced Mitchell Trubisky down 5 times last week. So Kirk Cousins could be under duress quite a bit at Lambeau Field as well. The stat to know, Packers receiver Devontae Adams will likely receive coverage from Minnesota cornerback Xavier Rhodes this week. According to NFL Next Gen Stats, Rhodes was the closest defender to Adams on 16 targets last season, which Adams turned into 12 receptions, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What to know for fantasy? Vikings receiver Stephon Diggs has scored in each of his past 5 meetings with the Packers, averaging 24.4 points a game in the process. Betting nugget: teams that start 1-0 are 5-18 against the spread when they go on the road in week 2, as the 1-0 Vikings do this Sunday since the start of 2016. And Green Bay is the FPI favorite at 54.9%. However, I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this game. My final score, I'm going to go 24-21. Minnesota knocks off Green Bay. Nothing more to say on this one. MF, number 2 game of the week for the Fox side. If you thought last year's game was fun, I think this game could be even more fun, if not more.
It could, very, very much so. When you're talking about Green Bay, who went into Chicago and basically they took it from the Bears. The Bears did not look good last week, and you gotta give a lot of credit where credit's due to that defense. That defense really stood up, really represented, holding Chicago to 45 yards rushing, held them to 208 yards passing. I mean, there was really nothing bad to say. So I mean, that was as good as of a performance that you can get from the Green Bay Packers. Look, a lot of things are gonna have to get better, but when you got Dalvin Cook, but I don't know he played amazing. You got Adam Thielen, Jimmy Graham, so you got a lot of things going on right now in the game. So I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. This is gonna be very interesting, but I'm gonna go with Green Bay at home. I think they're gonna find a way to win the game. So I'm gonna go with the Packers. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Bullock?
I'm right here. Yeah. All I can say is when it comes to this this game, I mean, a lot of history, and I mean, with the Packers last week in the opener, I mean, they basically, like you said, took a page out of the Chicago Bears book, and they made the Bears offense look so freaking terrible. And but now they're going to be facing another good defense in the Minnesota Vikings, and that Green Bay defense is going to have to deal with the likes of Dalvin Cook, who ran for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. So that's going to be very tough for them to do. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's really going to have to make some plays and really try to. He's going to have to be very careful with that front line led by Everson Griffin, and of course free safety Harrison Smith. So it's a tough game, but I do agree. I got to go with the Minnesota Vikings as well. I'm going to go 27-24. Minnesota over Green Bay. So nothing more to say, Florio. It is yours.
All right, and we move on to another divisional rivalry. This one from the AFC South. And oh boy, is that division gone south. Oh my goodness. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Houston Texans at NRG/Reliant Stadium in Houston over on CBS. Andrew Catalan, James Lofton on the call. Houston opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. Texans lead the all-time series 21-13. Texans swept both meetings last year, including at home 20-3 win over the Jags a year ago. Jacksonville last won in Houston the year before, 2017. That was a 29-7 win. MF, of course, Jacksonville. Oh my goodness. Insane game against Kansas City last week. A lot of things happened. Nick Foles, their new quarterback, injured.
Yep.
Broke his shoulder. Earliest he could be back is week 11.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, now the man. And one of their defensive players, their star defensive player, Miles Jack, got ejected because, well, let's just say he couldn't keep his hands to himself.
Yeah.
So Houston.
And then on top of that, Houston, you're stinging from a devastating loss on Monday night. Will Lutz, 58-yard at the gun to win it for the Saints, and we're going to get into them in a little bit. Deshaun Watson had a great game. DeAndre Hopkins, with his dreadlock powers, was rising up again. And man alive, man, what a game it was. Probably the best of the Monday night games by far last week. You want to talk about Shakespearean drama in the whole 9 yards? We had it and then some. If you're Houston, you're heartbroken. You're thinking, we let one get away. We had that game possibly in hand, and this is one that we got to get this back. If you're Jacksonville, look, Gardner Minshew is gonna have a real tough, daunting task to handle because of the fact that, for one, you're going up against a Houston Texan defense that really got torched last week. So, I mean, they gave up 510 yards of total offense, 362 yards in passing. They gave up 148 yards in rushing. So, obviously, Houston's going to want to clean all that up. And they're going to want to clean that up this upcoming week. So, I think the defense is going to be a lot more better. They're going to be a lot more sharper. They're going to get to Minshew. As long as, if Leonard Fournette gets a little bit of some good running attack, that might neutralize it a little bit. But when you got Deshaun Watson, you're going to have DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have a big game. Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson, that's a running back by committee. I think they're going to get through, and they're going to have a good performance against that defense of Jacksonville. I got Houston winning this one pretty comfortably by at least 2 touchdowns. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, with Jacksonville, I mean, they had to, they lost some key guys. Well, obviously, like you said, Miles Jack, like you said, couldn't keep his hands to himself and ended up getting ejected. But, man, the guy they signed in the offseason, Nick Foles, yeah, he's got like a broken collarbone. He's going to be out for a while. So, just when you thought the Jacksonville Jaguars finally had their problem solved at quarterback from what happened last season, it feels like it's back to square one all over again for them. And Houston, a tough loss for them on Monday night. I mean, they were in it till the very end against the Saints. So, yeah, I think the defense is definitely going to be playing a much better game here, especially how limited the Jags are offensively. And yeah, I got the Houston Texans winning this one. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 30-14 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours.
And we move on to yet another divisional rivalry. And this one, well, spotlight right here. No doubt about this. You think AFC East, you think perhaps maybe the best rivalry in the history of this division. The New England Patriots, your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, squaring off against the Miami Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, the home of Super Bowl 54, coming up in February. Buddy Bowl matchup. MF and Eric Carrier and their Dolphin family going up against Michael Bullock, Derek Ferreira, and the Patriot Nation. And this game on CBS. Of course, we're going to get this one on our local affiliate, WPRI 12, because hello, it's the local team, obviously. So We got Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn on the call. And friends, you're not going to believe this spread. New England is opening up as an 18.5-point favorite. I am not kidding. Miami, however, leads the all-time series, though. At least you got that going for you, MF, 54-50 all time. But of course, last year the Patriots. Well, actually, no. They matter of fact, the last couple of years, these teams have split. Both teams winning at home. Of course, the last time these two teams met in Miami, we'll never forget it. Week 14, last December, the Miami Miracle. A game that I know MF and Eric Carrier will. That's a game that will never, ever leave their hearts for as long as they live, especially MF. And we all know how emotional MF was after that one. We never saw MF get emotional, but oh my goodness, you should have seen how emotional he was with that one. 34-33 last year. Dolphins also won the year before. New England hasn't won in Miami since 2016. That was a 35-14 beatdown. So I believe all the schematics are loose, and it's only fitting we start with our New England Patriots superfan, Michael Bullock. Patriots, they got back to work, and oh my goodness, they Viking Raiders squashed the Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday night, 33-3. We know what happened to the Dolphins. Now you're going to Miami. Antonio Brown is here. Oh my goodness, we're going to have in store for an encore.
Who knows what the Patriots could have for an encore, especially now with the addition of Antonio Brown. I mean, the Patriots. I mean, it certainly was a banner night Sunday night. I mean, they raised that championship banner, and then they go on to Viking Raiders squash the Pittsburgh Steelers 33-3. I mean, I was expecting a close game here, but man, oh man, the Patriots, they dominated every facet of the game, offensively and defensively. I mean, it looked like they didn't miss a beat, and then you go on and you add Antonio Brown to go with Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman. Who knows what Antonio Brown has in store for the Patriots? But and then of course we all know what happened with Miami, embarrassed by the Ravens. But the thing is, history hasn't been on the side of the Patriots. Like you said, the last time they won in Miami was in the regular season finale in 2016, where they beat up the Dolphins 35-14. But the last two meetings in Miami haven't gone our way. So, and beating the Dolphins in Miami hasn't been easy. So, part of me wants to think this is going to be a blowout, but another part of me also thinks this is going to be closer than that just because of the history. But the Dolphins, I mean, they didn't look good last week, so I don't think this is going to be a close one here. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 41-20. The Patriots will beat up the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, Fletch. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, sorry, MF, indeed. But we'll give him some more time to think about it. What to watch for? You could see potential career days for Sony Michel, James White, and the Patriots running game. The Dolphins loaded the box to stop the Ravens run game last week, and as a result, they were torched by Lamar Jackson's arm. But even then, they still gave up 265 rushing yards to Mark Ingram and the rest of the Ravens backfield. The bold prediction, assuming the NFL doesn't step in and place him on the commissioner's exempt list, Patriots receiver Antonio Brown will play and score at least one touchdown. Tom Brady will want to get Brown involved early in his New England debut. Stat to know, the Dolphins sustained blocks through 2.5 seconds just 35% of the time in week one, the second worst rate in the NFL according to ESPN's pass block win rate using NFL Next Gen stats. Meanwhile, Michael Bennett had a pass rush win rate of 39% in week one, the third best among individual pass rushers. What to know for fantasy? The Patriots have struggled in Miami recently, but Tom Brady has been a top 3 fantasy quarterback in 2 of his past 3 trips to South Beach. Betting nugget, no team in the Super Bowl era has ever been more than an 18-point favorite on the road before the end of September. The largest home underdog in that span was 18 points, done twice, 1969 and 1970. Both of those underdogs were shut out and did not cover. FPI prediction, of course, it's New England, 85.7%. It's going to be another long day for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, you thought last week was bad? Oh my goodness, this could be just as bad, if not worse. But I'm gonna throw MF a little bone here. 44-20, just about right, Bullock. But I think it's going to be 44-20 in favor of the New England Patriots. So nothing more to say. MF, I know you don't want to really get into this. I know you're dreading it, but here you go. Patriots and Dolphins. Let's just say, I'm sorry, buddy. There ain't going to be no miracle this year.
Yeah, the only way Miami wins this game is if New England lays down. And I know that that's not possible, but I feel now I'm gonna upset a lot of Patriot fans right now. And I'm gonna say it, and I don't give a damn. I thought New England laid down against Tennessee, and I thought New England laid down against Detroit last year. Those 2 games, straight up, they threw them. No doubt in my mind. They threw both those games. Now, going into Miami, obviously New England is still stinging from that Miami miracle from a year ago. Different team, I know. Gronk's not there. Some of the guys who were on that team is not there now. Now there's the talk about maybe not Josh Gordon, that Antonio Brown might play because of the fact that, he's been dealing with a little bit of some trouble, but it's a civil suit, not a criminal case, so the NFL can't touch it as of now, not yet. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they had Antonio Brown or if they do or they don't have him, because of the fact that Miami is in such a disarray right now, defensively, offensively. What you saw last week is a team that basically, I'm going to say it, I don't think they really care about this year. They're going to tank it. They're going to throw it. They're going to do whatever it is to preserve the number 1 overall pick for the upcoming NFL draft. We knew this was going to be a bad season. We knew it was going to be a rough go. Look at the schedule, the whole 9 yards. But then after seeing the first game against Baltimore, that was absolutely, what I saw was even worse than I even thought. I know this is going to be a rough season. I knew it going into this. It was going to be rough. It was not going to be fun at all. I think Miami is definitely going to lose. They're going to lose by at least 4, maybe 5 touchdowns at least. If we could even keep it within 30, is a moral victory for the Dolphins. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I know a lot of people are going to be coming at me, Mike, you should be loyal to your team. You should be loyal. I am loyal. I'm going to root for Miami. But I'm a professional first. I'm an analyst first, more than anything else. And I got to see the writing on the wall. And right now, that writing is that New England's going to go in there and they're going to absolutely torch the Dolphins in Miami. I don't know how else you can slice it or cut it. The only way Miami pulls off the upset is if New England absolutely craps the bed and lays down. That's the only way this goes. Offensively, defensively, the coaching way, the schemes, it should be an easy victory for New England. If New England loses, it's because of the fact that Belichick, and I'm going to mean it, I'm going to mean this, Belichick has so much respect for Brian Flores to give him a leg up. That's the only way this goes. Because think about it. Think about this. Who was the when Matt Patricia played against New England? We know he was the defensive coordinator. You saw a shell of the Patriots in that game. Then later in the year, they went up against Tennessee. Who is the head coach? Mike Vrabel. How is he legendary? For being a defensive linebacker for the Patriots. Brian Flores, former defensive coordinator, D-line coach for the Patriots, now head coach of the Dolphins. Maybe Belichick feels sorry for him after what happened and lies down on this one. That's the only way Miami wins it, because honestly, I don't see it. Nothing more to say, Florio. It's yours.
Yes, and I forgot to mention New England is my eliminator pick this week, so shocker there. No big surprise. All right. Let's move on now to our next 1 o'clock matchup. And the next two games we're going to get into past Super Bowl matchups as well. This first one, of course, this is one that still to this day pains me. Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, squaring off against the New York Giants. Second week in a row for the Buffalo Bills at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Greg Gumbel, legendary Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Melanie Collins, they'll be on the call. The Bills opening up as a 2-point favorite. Good for me. Series history, of course, the series history is tied at 6 apiece. The Giants, however, have won each of the last 3 meetings between these teams, including the last one in 2015. Giants won in Buffalo 24-10. Last meeting in New York was 2011. Giants won that as well, 27-24. Bills haven't beaten the Giants since 2003, when the Bills went into the old Giants Stadium and beat up on the Giants 24-7. Of course, when you think about these two teams, you cannot help but think about Super Bowl 25, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. Giants winning 20-19. Scott Norwood, wide right. Steve Christie, if Steve Christie was the kicker, that thing would have been good from 70, bar none. And Buffalo would have won that Super Bowl. But that's in the past. Let's move on to the future. And I started off fittingly, because it's my team, only fitting. So, okay, let's get to the stuff here. What to watch for? Saquon Barkley ran for 120 yards on just 11 carries last week, the second fewest carries in his career. That's not likely to happen again, especially against the Bills defense that has been so good against the pass since the start of last season. Giants coach Pat Shurmur said, "We all know that Saquon is a focus of our offense. Yeah, we want him to get the football." It's not hard to see where this one is headed for good reason. Bold prediction? Bills quarterback Josh Allen set a career high last week with 254 passing yards. He'll set another career high in week 2 with his first 300-yard game through the air against a Giants secondary that just surrendered 405 passing yards to Dak Prescott last week. The stat to know, the Giants are 4-12 at home over the past 2 seasons, the worst home win percentage in the NFL during that span, but they need a win to avoid a 6th 0-2 start in the past 7 years. What to know for fantasy? Eli Manning has thrown for 300 yards in 3 consecutive games, matching the longest streak of his career. And the betting nugget, the New York Giants are 6-15-1 against the spread in its past 22 September games since 2013, and it has failed to cover its past 7 Week 2 games. And Buffalo is the FPI favorite, 50.3%. After what I saw last week, I mean, they were down 16-0, and I was like, wow. And then 17 unanswered, and they win. You can't measure heart and guts, friends. You can't. And they showed a lot of heart and guts, and they came all the way back, and they stole that one. And I think they can do it again. I don't think it's going to be as open and shut as people think. The Giants are going to play them tough. Eli's going to play tough. Saquon's going to play tough. The only thing is Sterling Shepard, their wide receiver, he's out with a concussion. So slight hand goes to Buffalo here. 22-20. Buffalo does it again. They sweep the MetLife series. over the Jets and the Giants before they open up the homestand next week. So, boy, what a time to be a Bills fan. I mean, I thought it was going to be another so-so year, but who knows? This team actually might hang if their defense keeps playing the way it does. So I'm actually a little bit encouraged. So there's really nothing more to say on this. 22-20, Buffalo over the Giants. Nothing more to say. MF, can you believe what my team did last week? Coming back from 16-zip down to win? Wow.
Guess who's the head coach of the New York Jets? And now you know why I have no faith in the Jets this year.
Oh, your buddy, Adam Gase. Yes.
Yeah. So now you know why I had no faith in them. One problem, Florio, and this is a big problem. How are you going to stop Saquon Barkley? Because he went off last week. 11 carries for 120 yards. Not only that, but Eli Manning, hey, pretty good day. You know, we always knock on Eli a lot, for performances and whatnot, but 30 of 44, 306, had a touchdown, no picks. So not bad. What did them in was defensively. Defensively, they got shredded, and that's going to be a problem. That's going to be the big problem for the Giants, because if the defense gets a little better and bucks up a little bit, then obviously they got a great chance to beat Buffalo. But when Buffalo's defense alone only gave up 155 yards passing, 68 yards rushing, and was able to hold the team at a 41% clip on third downs, with only giving up 223 yards all game, dude, Buffalo's defense is real. They're better. They're stronger. They've gotten better. And on top of that, I got a really good feeling about Josh Brown. And as long as Josh Allen can stay consistent, I think Buffalo should sneak away with the win here. 24-21. I got Buffalo knocking off the New York Giants. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I like you said, I think the thing here is the key. Can the Buffalo Bills slow down Saquon Barkley? That's going to be the key right here. If they can contain him and they can also make it tough on Eli Manning, I think Buffalo can win this. So yeah, so to me, this is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the New York Giants to win this one. I think it's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna say my final score is gonna be 21-17. So nothing more to say. Let's move right along, Florio.
Yes. We just talked about how the Bills and the Giants met in Super Bowl 25. Well, let's move on to another former Super Bowl matchup. The two teams that met in Super Bowl 40 are going to be squaring off this week. The Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Another one of the games on that loaded Fox schedule for this week. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Lindsey Czarniak will be on the call for that one. Steelers opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Series history favors Seattle 9-8. They last met in 2015 in Seattle. Seahawks won a wild one, 39-30. Their last meeting in Pittsburgh was in 2011. Steelers won that one 24-0. Seattle has not won in Pittsburgh since 1999, a 29-10 win, and that was at the old Three Rivers Stadium. So, and then of course we all remember Super Bowl 40. Ford Field in Detroit, Steelers won 21-10. Ugly game, no doubt about that. So, nothing more to say here. Let's bring in good old MF Michael Fletcher to start us off on this one. We talked about how Seattle, in a dogfight with Cincinnati, nearly cost me my eliminator. I was on the edge I was sweating bullets, man. But but somehow Seattle pulled it out. And then Pittsburgh, oh boy, did they lay an egg in Foxborough.
That was dog meat. That was dog meat. What happened to them? No doubt about it. At the end of the day, yeah. Seattle just barely played. They played well and everything else. Just a good performance, just enough. But if you really think about it, Russell Wilson wasn't really that amazing. Only on 195 yards passing, had 2 touchdowns in the game. Tyler Lockett did pretty well. But the thing was, what really made the difference in this game was Seattle's defense, normally known as the Legion of Boom. Rushing wise, they were amazing. Only gave up 34 yards rushing. But boy, did they get torched through the air. You want to talk about air raid, 395 yards passing given up on that game. So, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Pittsburgh, you know they're fuming. They got humiliated by the Patriots a week ago. They had nothing going. It was one of those where you were wondering, did that just really happen? So we'll see what happens. Always a tough game, but it's at home. Pittsburgh should bounce back. I got them beating the Seattle Seahawks. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bounce back game for Pittsburgh. I mean, because you know that they're not happy with their performance last week against the New England Patriots. I mean, it's certainly it's not going to be an easy task. I mean, going up against a team like the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks will definitely make it interesting, especially with Russell Wilson, what he can do with his arms and with his legs. So, yeah, it's going to be a close one, but I got Pittsburgh bouncing back and winning this one at home. 27-24 is going to be my final score. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. I was so excited about, some of these games this week that I just had a little botcheroo moment. I forgot to give, the schematics. Well, not really the schematics, but my thoughts on the Jacksonville and Houston game. My apologies, folks. And I've had a long day, very long day, believe me. But let me quickly get into Jacksonville and Houston. What to watch for? Can Laramie Tunsil and the Texans' offensive line protect Deshaun Watson? In Week 1, the Jaguars did not sack Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, but Watson was sacked an NFL high 6 times in the Texans season opener. The bold prediction, the Jaguars will give running back Leonard Fournette 30 touches or close to it in Gardner Minshew's first start at quarterback. The Texans' pass rushers should be pretty eager to get after the rookie, especially J.J. Watt, who did not record a sack, QB hit, or tackle against the Saints for the first time in a game in his career. The stat to know, Minshew posted the highest completion percentage, 88%, minimum of 15 attempts in an NFL debut in league history, and his 13 consecutive completions to begin his career was the longest streak by a player who debuted over the past 40 years, per the Elias Sports Bureau. Minshew will be the first rookie quarterback drafted in the 6th round or later to start a game this early in the season since Don Majkowski did so for the Green Bay Packers in 1987. What to know for fantasy? Jags receiver Dede Westbrook is averaging 7.6 targets a game over his past 5 games. That's more than Brandon Cooks averaged last year. And the betting nugget? The past 24 quarterbacks to make their first career start as an underdog of at least 7 points are 16-8 against the spread. And Houston is a 73.7% FPI favorite. I have Houston winning that game 27-17. Now, on to Seattle and Pittsburgh. If I can find it in my list here. Okay. Of course, we think about Super Bowl 40. That'll definitely conjure up some memories for me. But anywho, here in the 30-point loss to the Patriots, Pittsburgh was successful on 25% of its third downs and picked up 1 of 3 fourth downs. And the Steelers failed to convert on 3 third-and-1 situations. They will be trying to remedy their previous shortcomings against a tough Seattle front that now includes Jadeveon Clowney. The bold prediction, the Seahawks secondary will have a new look and much better results compared to the opener when Seattle allowed Andy Dalton to throw for a career-high 418 yards. Free safety Tedrick Thompson, who misplayed a ball that resulted in a 55-yard touchdown, may be out of the starting lineup due to that mistake and or a leg injury that kept him from practicing on Wednesday. The stat to know, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger was 6 of 8 for 75 yards and a 95 QBR when targeting Juju Smith-Schuster last week. But when he looked elsewhere, he completed just 54% of his passes and his QBR fell all the way down to 12. What's to know for fantasy? Each of Roethlisberger's top 8 career fantasy performances has come at home. The betting nugget, the over is 11-2 in Pittsburgh's past 13 games as a home favorite. And Pittsburgh, a 53.6% favorite, according to the FPI. So I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this one as well. My final score, 21-17. Pittsburgh over Seattle. Should be a good one. So nothing more to say here. Let's move on to our next matchup on our docket here. And we have, I believe it is the other AFC South divisional matchup. The Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Tennessee Titans, Nissan Stadium in Tennessee. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta on the call. And Tennessee opening up as a 3-point favorite in that one. And series history favors the Indianapolis Colts 33-15. The Colts swept both meetings last year, including Week 17 in Nashville on a Sunday night. MF and I had it. That winner-take-all game between those two wasn't even close. Indy won 33-17. The Titans' last home win against the Colts was the year before, 2017. That was a 36-22 final. So those are all the schematics. Michael Bullock, we started with you. Indy, they played the Chargers tough, as we said, but we got to show some love for the Tennessee Titans. Look what they did against the Cleveland Browns in that much ballyhooed home opener for the Browns in the dog pound.
Yeah, I mean, what Tennessee did, I mean, they basically whooped the Cleveland Browns 43-13, and yeah, and they really did a lot defensively. I mean, with picking off Baker Mayfield, so yeah, they're definitely going to have a repeat performance of that if they want to start up the season 2-0. And the key thing is with Jacoby Brissett, he was 0-2 against the Titans in 2017. But Tennessee struggles. They basically extend beyond just Manning and Luck. Even when Manning missed the entire season, Dan Orlovsky was the one that beat Tennessee 27-13 in Week 15. So yeah, so there is a little bit of luck, a little bit on the side of the Colts when it comes to their quarterback. So yeah, I think the Titans, I think what they have to do is to contain all pro linebacker Darius Leonard. I mean, if they can do that, he could. I mean, Marcus Mariota, I think, could have a big day passing wise, and also the Titans defense needs to contain Marlon Mack and force Jacoby Brissett to beat them in the air. So I got the Tennessee Titans winning this one. I'm gonna go 24-20. Tennessee beats Indianapolis. Florio, it's yours.
What to watch for? How will the Titans wide receivers match up against those Colts cornerbacks? Rookies A.J. Brown and Rock Ya-Sin are two physical players setting up for a fun battle, while Adam Humphries versus Kenny Moore is a duel of cat-quick players. Perhaps the best one-on-one for Tennessee will be Corey Davis against Pierre Desir. Bold prediction? The Titans will not have more than 2 sacks. Tennessee sacked Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield 5 times and intercepted him 3 times last week. But the Colts have a better offensive line as they limited Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and the rest of the Chargers defense to just 2 sacks. Stat to know, the Colts have won 8 of their last 10 road games against Tennessee dating back to 2009, averaging 27.1 points a game in those contests. What to know for fantasy? Derrick Henry is one of only 2 running backs, Christian McCaffrey of Carolina the other, to have scored at least 27 points on 3 different occasions since week 14 of last season. The betting nugget, Indianapolis is 13-2 straight up and 11-4 against the spread in its past 15 games against Tennessee. However, Tennessee is the FPI favorite at 65.7%. And I got the Tennessee Titans winning this game here. My final score, I'm going to go 28-24 Tennessee over Indianapolis. Start 2-0. Nothing more to say. MF. Tennessee. Went into Cleveland. Much ballyhooed home opener. All the hype was there. It was saying, Cleveland, it's going to be their year. Tennessee was saying, not on our watch.
Yeah, and the thing was, Tennessee just they kicked the door down and made themselves right at home, and we were like, whoa, you caught our attention, guys. Tennessee, even though there was, you know what? I'll say this. Even though there isn't a power rankings anymore because we've eliminated it, Tennessee would at least be number 2 in the power rankings. Like, they were that good. That was impressive, guys. Marcus Mariota, 3 touchdowns in the game. You had Derrick Henry looking good. Defensively, they lined it up. They put everything together, and they shut down Baker Mayfield and the crew and stunned them. So, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But let me tell you, man, Tennessee, you better not rest on your laurels because Indianapolis has Jacoby Brissett, who did pretty well. Nothing bad, nothing too amazing. But they got a running attack. Marlon Mack, man, 174 and a touch. And if he gets going, man, this might be trouble for you guys. No doubt about it. Very good game. Exciting matchup. Down the line, I'm going to go with Tennessee. Very close, 28-24. But, man, this is going to be good. I like it. This is going to be a good game. Nothing more to say. Anthony, back to you.
Good enough to consider it our game of the week, MF?
Yeah, why the hell not? Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go, Cuzzo.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. It eliminates any possibility of back-to-backs. But don't worry, man. Next week, we got a doozy next week. Believe me. But you know what that is. And we had a lot of fun with it last year. And we're going to have so much fun with I think we're going to have even more fun with it this year. Unlike what we had in week 14 when these two teams last met. But that's next week. That's our game of the week next week, buddy boy. No doubt about it. So, all righty. Our final early game here. Oh, this is as old school a divisional rivalry as you can get. From the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys squaring off with the Washington Redskins, FedEx Field, Landover, Maryland, on Fox, and we're getting this game on our local Fox affiliate, Fox Providence. Kevin Burkhardt, Charles Davis, Pam Oliver, they will be at FedEx Field in this one. And Dallas opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. And the Cowboys lead the all-time series 71-43 with 2 ties. And last year, I believe Dallas swept both meetings last year. I just want to double check. Actually, no, they split both meetings last year. Redskins won at home, 20-17. Cowboys last one in Washington the year before, 2017. That was a 33-19 final. So really, really nothing more to say on this one. So my game notes have been, slipping in and out. But I got it all here. So let's get into this old school NFC East rivalry. Why don't we? To close out our early window. Let me see. Okay. What to watch for? The Redskins passing game, with tight end Jordan Reed working the inside and rookie receiver Terry McLaurin, 125 yards last week on the outside, will be something to watch in this NFC East matchup. But Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott is 5-1 versus Washington with 6 touchdowns and no interceptions, and he connected 8 times with Amari Cooper for 180 yards in a win over Washington last year. Bold prediction: the Redskins' Adrian Peterson will rush for more than 100 yards and score to break a tie with Hall of Famer Jim Brown for the 5th most touchdowns in league history with 106. The Cowboys allowed only 300-yard rushes last season, but Peterson came close with 24 carries for 99 yards at FedEx Field. Stat to know: Dak Prescott set career highs on play action last week, going 14 of 15 for 207 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was also 9 for 11 on throws 10-plus yards downfield. What to know for fantasy? Dallas receiver Michael Gallup had 7 catches for 109 yards through 6 weeks last season. Last Sunday against the Giants, he caught all 7 of his targets for 158 yards. Betting nugget regarding Washington: 0-1 teams that are home underdogs in their second game of the season are 25-8 against the spread and 19-15 straight up since 2010. Dallas is the FPI favorite, 60.7%. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. My final score: 31-23, Dallas over Washington. Nothing more to say, MF. We always have fun when these two teams get together. That infamous NFL Blitz commercial. Cowboys, Cowboys, Redskins, Redskins.
and what I'm gonna say is, this is gonna be a good matchup. This is gonna be interesting to see. But whenever with Dallas, it's gonna be a lot of Dak, a lot of Zeke, and a lot of Amari Cooper. It's going to be a lot of those guys. You're going to see Michael Gallup. He's going to get in it. That defense, look, they did really good against the Giants, but they did let the running game get a little out of hand. You can't really do that. But with Adrian Peterson, who was a healthy scratch last week, it wasn't because he was injured. He was a healthy scratch. They did not play him. He will play this game because their running back, Darius Geis, got hurt, and he will not go. So that's going to be a little bit of a factor. How's that going to play out? We'll see. But I got the Cowboys winning as well. They looked pretty good in the first game. They'll look good this time around. 30-17 is my final score. The Cowboys beats the Redskins. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I expect this is going to be another good one here, but I think Dallas is definitely going to make it tough on the Redskins, basically led by Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper. So, yeah, I really got nothing more to say. I got Dallas winning this one as well, so that pretty much does it for the early slate. Florio, let's get to the late games.
And we started off theme of the week, divisional rivalries. And we got another beauty right here to kick off our late slate of action. AFC West rivalry. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Oakland Raiders at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland. This game on CBS. And on the call for this one, hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. They'll be there for this one. Kansas City opening up as a 7-point favorite. The series history favors the Kansas City Chiefs, 63-52 with 2 ties. Chiefs swept both meetings last year. They won a wild one in Oakland last year. Matter of fact, the last 2 games they played in Oakland were wild affairs. Kansas City winning 40-33 last year. The year before, the greatest Thursday night football game since the Thursday night concept was introduced, when the Raiders won that wild one 31-30. that 5-star Shakespearean drama classic. So,
And who was doing that game?
hello, friends.
The same duo.
Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
And I must make a correction, Anthony. This is the game of the week. This is the one. This is the Tony and Mikey special.
Well, that will give us a back-to-back for next week, but who cares? I think we abolished that rule. So
Yeah, we did.
That's right. I forgot. So, all right, Chiefs and Raiders. But then again, yeah, it's because this is the only team. This is the only AFC matchup that has winning records on both sides. So,
Yep.
So obviously we got to go by that rule. We've always gone by the record rules. So, all right. So it's KC and Oakland. You got all the schematics out of the way. It's only fitting we start with MF, the Phil Simms to my Jim Nantz in this case. So, hello, friends. All right, MF. Let's do that thing I like.
Well, I mean, what is there really to say? This is going to be a great matchup, a great battle, no doubt about it. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't know what the Raiders were going to look like, especially after the Antonio Brown saga, the drama, and everything else. But I'll say this, guys, there was no problem. You know, they definitely did what they had to do. They handled their business, and they took it to the Denver Broncos, and a lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. I think a lot of people thought maybe Denver was going to definitely get some momentum because of all the drama that happened, but the Raiders shut them down throughout the night, held them to 249 yards passing, held them to 95 yards rushing, 16 points, not bad. So, I mean, one game, I know it's only one game, but a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. But now you're going against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But Mahomes is a little hurt. He did have a little bit of a gimpy ankle. We don't know if he's going to be at 100%. But I think Kansas City will find a way to get the job done. This is going to be one of those games down the wire again. 31-28. I got Kansas City winning. But if Mahomes is not at 100%, there could be an upset, and the Raiders could steal it. So we'll see. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, who knows? I mean, that's going to be the key right there. I mean, who knows what to expect from Pat Mahomes with the injury? And let's not forget another thing. I mean, of course, we know Tyreek Hill's going to be out for a while, so who knows what to expect from this Kansas City offense with some of their key guys. But yeah, if Pat Mahomes can perform to what we expect, then I do agree. I mean, I do think this is going to be a blowout. But if he's not who he is, this could be closer than people are expecting it. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this one. But I really don't know if this is going to end up being a blowout or a close one. We'll just have to wait and see. Flory, what's yours?
What to watch for? The Raiders would like nothing more than to duplicate their 13-play, 95-yard drive in 8 minutes and 35 seconds on Monday night against the Broncos to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. They have beaten the Chiefs only twice in their past 12 meetings, but both of those games were in Oakland. As Kansas City coach Andy Reid said, there's just something about that place that's crazy. Yeah, the black hole. We all know that. Bold prediction. The Chiefs will score at least 35 points against the Raiders for the third consecutive game despite losing wide receiver Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs topped 35 points early in the fourth quarter last week against Jacksonville and still have plenty of weapons, including rookie receiver Mecole Hardman and veteran running back LaShawn McCoy. The stat to know, Oakland running back Josh Jacobs tallied 113 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. Only 2 players since 1970 have gained 100 scrimmage yards and scored twice in each of their first 2 games. Kareem Hunt in 2017 and Billy Sims in 1980. What to know for fantasy? Since the beginning of last season, only Sammy Watkins, Zach Ertz, and Amari Cooper have multiple games with at least 8 catches, 100 receiving yards, and multiple receiving scores. The betting nugget regarding Kansas City, 1-0 teams that are road favorites in week 2 are 0-9 against the spread since 2016 and 6-24 against the spread since 2010. Kansas City is the FPI favorite, 70%. Yeah, this is going to be a wild one. Final score for me, I'm going to go 37-31, Kansas City over Oakland. It's going to be a lot of fun. I never thought I'd see MF and I doing a Raiders game ever again, but okay, I'm convinced. Let's go. So, black hole, here we come. That's all I can say on that. Now to the two games at 4:25 for Fox. Main event coming up in just a little bit, but we have one other game to get through before we get to that big one. We got the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Sports Authority Field in Mile High in Denver. The legendary Dick Stockton, Mark Schlereth, Jennifer Hale, they will have the call for that one. Chicago opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. Series history favors the Denver Broncos 8-7. Broncos have won each of the last 2 meetings against the Bears. Their last meeting was 2015 in Chicago. Denver won 17-15. Last meeting in Denver, 2011, Broncos won 13-10 in overtime. That was the infamous Tim Tebow game. We all remember that. That's how Tebow Mania got started. Chicago has not won in Denver since 2003, 19-10. Their overall last win against Denver was 2007, 37-34 in overtime in Chicago. So really nothing more to say here. So, Michael Bullock, we started with you. Chicago, that tough loss against Green Bay on that Thursday night. Denver, tough go against the Raiders. Who avoids the 0-2 hole here?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who will avoid the 0-2 start. And the thing is, you got 2 really good linebackers on both sides. Von Miller for the Denver Broncos, and of course Khalil Mack for the Chicago Bears. So, yeah, that offense for the Broncos is definitely going to be tested against this really good defense of the Chicago Bears. And yeah, if they can protect Joe Flacco, who knows? I mean, it could be a good day for him. But if they get pressure on him, it could be a really tough day for them. So, yeah, so I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears to bounce back after a rough week 1, and I expect them to beat the Denver Broncos. 21-17 is going to be my final score. So, nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yes. What to watch for? It will be the tale of 2 pass rushes. The Bears sacked Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers 5 times in the opener. Meanwhile, the Broncos didn't sack Raiders quarterback Derek Carr at all and didn't even register a single hit on him. It was the first time in more than 4 seasons the Broncos had not registered a quarterback hit in a game. Bold prediction, Bears rookie running back David Montgomery will touch the ball 15-plus times. Chicago coach Matt Nagy took tons of grief for not using Montgomery, who had only 7 touches last week, more in week 1, but the Bears will not repeat that mistake. Stat to know, Denver is 5-1 when Philip Lindsay has 100-plus scrimmage yards since the running back debuted last season, but it is 1-9 when he does not reach that threshold over that span. What to know for fantasy? Bears receiver Allen Robinson has 3 straight games, including the playoffs, with at least 6 catches and 85 receiving yards. The only receivers who have had a longer such streak since the beginning of last season are Adam Thielen, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. Betting nugget, Denver has won 13 straight September home games, 8-3-2 against the spread. Chicago, however, is the FPI favorite at 50.8%. 50.8. I got Chicago winning this game. My final score, I'm going to go 20-10. Chicago beats Denver. So they'll bounce back from that tough one from last week. So MF, Chicago and Denver, your thoughts?
Tough game, not easy whatsoever. I'm gonna go with Chicago too. I think they'll have what it takes to at least get the job done. Mitchell Trubisky's gotta represent. There's a lot of questions about him now. A lot of people are starting to put a lot of pressure on him, especially after what he did last week. So they got to come out and they just got to win. So I really got nothing more to say. Chicago should win it. Anthony, now it's time for the featured match of the evening, aka the main event.
And brother, it don't get no bigger. Ooh. The game of the week, Fox's America's Game of the Week, the game of the week for week 2, the rematch of last year's controversial NFC Championship game, the New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. You know who's working this one. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, they will have it. The Rams opening up as only 2-point favorites. Series history favors the Rams 41-33. Of course, last year they met in New Orleans, week 9. Saints won in a wild shootout in the Dome, 45-35. And then, of course, the controversial NFC Championship game where the Rams won it 26-23 in overtime. The pass interference call that was not called, that screwed over the New Orleans Saints. Saints should have won that game. We all know it. We all know the story. So no need to rehash any more of that. Rams won in LA 2017, 26-20. MF and I, we had that one. That was a fun one. That was when CBS had that game, but this time Fox has it. They're like, you ain't getting this one, guys. Sorry. So Saints have not won in Los Angeles since 1994, 31-15. So that's the history of these two, all the schematics. And it's only fitting. It's only fitting that me being the Jim Nantz and the Joe Buck of this crew, that I get to start this one off on the game of the week. What to watch for? Watch for the Rams to weather an early storm led by Saints quarterback Drew Brees and Rara, who gained 169 all-purpose yards last week. But how much the Rams will deploy running back Todd Gurley remains a mystery. If he is let loose, he could have himself a day against the Saints' run defense that struggled mightily last week and allowed 180 yards rushing to the Texans. Bold prediction, Greg Zuerlein strikes again with a game-winning field goal in the final minute after his 48-yarder forced overtime in the NFC Championship game, and his 57-yarder sent the Los Angeles Rams to the Super Bowl. This is the toughest game on the Saints' 2019 schedule, and it should come down to the wire. The stat to know, in Week 1, the Saints pressured Deshaun Watson on 44.7% of his dropbacks, New Orleans' third highest rate in a game over the last 3 seasons, and in their lone win against the Rams over that time, including the playoffs, the Saints pressured Jared Goff on 33% of his dropbacks. Goff was pressured on only 26% of his dropbacks, and the Saints' losses to Los Angeles. What to know for fantasy? Gurley's streak of 33 straight games with a red zone carry was snapped last week. The betting nugget? Since 2014, New Orleans is 21-8 against the spread as an underdog. Only New England has a better cover percentage in that span at 7-1. Rams are the FPI favorite at 59.3%. Excuse me. There's nothing more to say on this one, really. I expect this to be another 5-star classic game, more Shakespearean drama. Hopefully no controversy in this one, unlike the NFC Championship game. So there's nothing more to say. I got the Los Angeles Rams winning this game. My final score, high-scoring game, you know it, 30-28, Los Angeles over New Orleans, in what should be another 5-star Shakespearean drama-laden classic. There's nothing more to say. MF, if this was on our side, if we were on the other side,
this would have been it.
This would have been the game right here. But
yep.
Like we just said, as the body said at WrestleMania 5, this is what the words main event were meant for, because this is the main event, brother. It don't get no bigger.
And it's going to be a great game. The excitement level for this one, when the NFL schedule was announced, this was one of the games we absolutely highlighted right at the very beginning, because we knew what this battle was going to be about. We knew how excited we were going to be for this game. At the end of the day, How's it going to play out? We're just going to have to wait and see. All we know is that it's going to be a great battle, a great game. There's a lot of drama, a lot of excitement for this one too. For New Orleans, it's about revenge. It's about payback. It's about a Super Bowl that got stolen from them. Maybe from the referees, but was stolen from them back in January when they were playing that game at the Dome. And this was the team that took it from them. Now, more importantly, with the game, with this being such a high-profile game, you know the revenge is on their mind. They want the payback. They want to win this game. So I'm going to go with the LA Rams to beat New Orleans 35-31 in what's undoubtedly going to be a great game. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that we're all waiting to see what happens. I mean, after what we saw in that NFC Championship game earlier this year, where many people thought that it should have been the Saints going to the Super Bowl and not the Rams. But a controversial call changed the whole complex of that game, sent the Rams to the Super Bowl, and was the reason why the NFL made a rule change in the offseason where pass interference is now reviewable. So I think for the Saints, I mean, they have to weather that early emotional storm. And the thing they have to do if they want to avenge that loss is focus on the now. I mean, don't focus what happened back a few months ago. That was then. Just do your job offensively, and defensively, you got to put some pressure on Jared Goff. So if they can do that, I think they can have success. But I'm going to go with the Rams to win this one. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to say 38-34. The LA Rams will beat the New Orleans Saints, but I would not be surprised if the Saints do pull it out here. So nothing more to say, Florio. Let's move on.
2 games left, and it's the primetime matchups. First up, Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya will have it. Philadelphia opening up as a 2-point favorite. Series history favors the Philadelphia Eagles 17-13 with a tie. They met last year in Philadelphia. Opening night, MF and I should know we had it. Eagles won that one 18-12. Very interesting score. Falcons have not won in Philadelphia since 2012. Overall was 2015. That was a home win, but the last time Atlanta stole one in I'm sorry, it was in Atlanta. That's right. Atlanta won in Atlanta in 2015. I meant to say Philly hasn't won in Atlanta since 2009, a 34-7 beatdown at the old Georgia Dome. So there's nothing more to say on this one. MF, started with you. Another great game from the NFC side of the ledger. They got loaded this week. This is another great matchup. Philly, they struggled against Washington, but just like the Buffalo Bills against the Jets, they were down big early. They came right back. All I can say was, welcome back to the Yellow Elf, Deshaun Jackson. Wow.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, had a well over 100 yards. Carson Wentz, man, you want to talk about a guy who looked ever so amazing. I mean, injury, yeah, no problem. Let me just sling it. I got my buddy back, and that's how good he was. So he looked great. The defense the defense got a little spotty at the beginning, but definitely tightened up a little bit later in the game. They did good. Atlanta just got bowed. Man, that was a bad performance by them. A couple of guys really stood out definitely in the game. It was more of a shocking performance because, you would think that they would be a lot more better. But man, Matt Ryan, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, not bad. Julio Jones was really pedestrian. 11 targets, 31 yards. He got a touchdown in the game. So, I mean, it was not bad, but I mean, we got to wait and see how Julio bounces back. 6 catches for 31 for Julio. But we're going to have to see how is he going to bounce back in the game. No doubt about it. It's going to be fun. I gotta say Philly wins. I just like their defense. I like what they bring to the table. So this is going to be a good game. 28-24. Philadelphia knocks off Atlanta. They send them 0-2. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this should be a good one here. I mean, with 2 really good offenses on both sides, and I mean, Atlanta with a loss last week, and basically, I like what I saw out of Carson Wentz last week from the Philadelphia Eagles side. So this is another tough one to call, but I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this one. I'm going to go with that same score, 28-24. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
What to watch for? What adjustments will the Falcons make in their red zone offense? The Falcons are 2 of 9 in the red zone in their past 3 games against the Eagles, all losses. Matt Ryan went 4 of 17 for 19 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception in the red zone during those games and was sacked twice. Bold prediction, tight end Zach Ertz will score 2 touchdowns. Week 1 was all about the long ball to Deshaun Jackson, but Carson Wentz will have to play a more methodical brand of offense against Atlanta's cover 3 defense, which will give up passes underneath to avoid the big play. That should lead to a good day for Ertz. Stat to know, against the Eagles since 2016, including the playoffs, Matt Ryan has posted a total QBR of 30, averaged 243 passing yards, and completed just 55% of his passes. Those numbers are significantly below what they are against all other opponents. A total QBR of 74, 294 passing yards a game, and a 69% completion percentage. What to know for fantasy? The Falcons' Calvin Ridley has caught a touchdown pass in 3 straight games after catching a total of 2 touchdown passes in his previous 10 contests. Betting nugget, since drafting Matt Ryan in 2008, Atlanta is 10-1 straight up and 10-1 against the spread in home openers. Ryan is also 11-4 against the spread as a home underdog. Atlanta, slight favorite, 50.1% for the FPI. But I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. I got a little bit higher scoring than you guys do. I'm going to go 30-27, Philadelphia over Atlanta. Should be another fun game from the NFC side. They are loaded this week, let me tell you. Final game of the night, Monday Night Football. And these were the 2 teams that met on the very first Monday Night Football game back in 1970. And they're going to meet again. The Cleveland Browns squaring off against the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters on the call. And the spread favors the Cleveland Browns by 6.5 points. Series history favors the Cleveland Browns 13-12. They met last year on a Thursday night, and the Cleveland Browns won that game in Cleveland 21-17, snapping a 5-game losing streak to the Jets. Their last meeting in New York was 2015. Jets won that one going away 31-10. The Browns have not beaten the Jets at the Jets since 2007, a 24-18 win at the old Giants Stadium. So, nothing more to say on this one. Michael Bullock, we start this final game off with you. Browns and Jets meeting on the very first Monday Night Football game in 1970. Here they are again. But the big difference is Sam Darnold, a no-go for the Jets.
Yeah, the word has broken that Sam Darnold's going to be a no-go. Yeah, so it's going to make the task even tougher for them. And Le'Veon Bell, I mean, he is fine. We were all wondering if he's going to be 100%, but it looks like he'll be a go. But, man, I mean, the Cleveland Browns, so much hype from what they did in the offseason, and they laid an egg in that first game where, I mean, especially late in that game where Baker Mayfield threw some interceptions there that really opened up the game for the Tennessee Titans. So, yeah, I do expect them to bounce back and take advantage of a Jets team that looks injured. And, yeah, I mean, I got the Cleveland Browns winning this one. I'm going to say 31 to 13 is going to be my final score. So, nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
What to watch for? Without quarterback Sam Darnold mononucleosis, the Jets will turn to Trevor Siemian to save them from an 0-2 start. The Greg Williams coach defense will have to play out of its mind to beat Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr., who accused Williams of teaching his players how to execute dirty hits. Williams, fired by the Browns after last season, will have a chip on his shoulder, as New York safety Jamal Adams said. Bold prediction, much like in last year's Bud Light fridge game against the Jets, Mayfield dazzles under the lights with 3 primetime touchdown passes, placing Cleveland's hype train back on its track after that disastrous Week 1 performance against Tennessee. Stat to know, in their Week 1 loss to the Titans, the Browns had at least 3 wide receivers on the field for 60 of their 63 snaps. That's 95%. That was the team's second most such snaps in the game over the last 10 seasons. 61 snaps against the Chargers last year. But Mayfield did not throw a touchdown and tossed 3 interceptions, all in the fourth quarter, while targeting Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. What to know for fantasy? In Week 1, the Jets were the second worst team in preventing yards before first contact. Why does that matter? Since the beginning of last season, Browns running back Nick Chubb ranks as the 5th best back after first contact. Betting nugget, Cleveland has not been a road favorite of at least 5 points since 1995, when Bill Belichick was their head coach. But the FPI actually has the Jets as a favorite, 58.8%. With all due respect, you got that one wrong, friends. You really did. Cleveland wins this game. My final score, 24-14. That's because of Trevor Siemian. If Sam Darnold was playing, then I would have said Cleveland 30-24. But without Darnold, they're not going to do much. 24-14. Cleveland bounces back. Nothing more to say. MF close out. Let's close it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cleveland should bounce back. They should win this game. And there's really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, take it home, bro.
All righty. Before you go, MF and Bullock, what time would be good for you guys for tomorrow night for the Clash of the Champions show?
10:30 for me.
Bullock?
10:30 is good for me.
All right. So 10:30 it is. We'll have to let Didi know, and we'll get going on that. So, all right. So that will put the bow on this Week 2 edition of NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. MF has already left, obviously, because of work commitments, I'm sure. So Michael Bullock, come on back in. Let's get started on your shout-outs, and then I will set up a very exciting week of future content coming up.
Yes, of course. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in for another great edition of NFL Friday. And, of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support all of our shows. Of course, shout outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12. Of course, our national, from all the national networks, ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Sports, NHL Network, NBA TV, MLB Network, and of course, our friends from the Road Show. Of course, the current host, Will, Brenda, and Michaela, and of course, former co-host Mary Larson and Megan Mooney. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me. So until tomorrow night for our preview of the Clash of Champions. This is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a 4-4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy your Saturday, everyone. And, of course, enjoy all that college football that'll be going on later today. So, Florio, take us home.
Yes, indeed. We'll do, Bullock. Special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Special shout out, of course, to Dede Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh, our insiders, along with Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. The crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Anderson, Rob Parsons, our group outing crew, Mike and Brian Keenan, Mike Silvera, Ryan Abedizian, just to name a few. The rest, you all know who you are. Of course, special shout outs, of course, to good old MF Michael Fletcher, who obviously had to leave because of work commitments beyond his control. And Derek Ferreira, who I let him know about our decision from last night. No response, but I'm guessing he's probably okay with it. So I hope he is. So that's all there is to say on that. Of course, all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, our friends over at ESPN, FS1, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, Lindsey McCormick and Stata Sorrell, our friends on the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, the former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson, and of course, last but not least, my dear friends over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 10:30, the Sunday morning service, Bible study, Wednesday nights at 7, other things going on. And that's it for that. So tomorrow night at 10:30, right back here, we are going to preview the WWE Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Every title on the line. We'll get into all that tomorrow. And then Sunday night, immediately following the pay-per-view, hop on over to MF's channel as he will have the recap of Clash of Champions. And then Monday night, of course, Ridiculously Raw. We sort out all the fallout from Clash of Champions. And, of course, my latest Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then Tuesday night, the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF. The SmackDown fallout from Clash of Champions. Mikey's Mindset. And this Wednesday, don't forget, this Wednesday will be the debut of Derek Ferreira's new show, Wednesday Night Mayhem, as we will review the first NXT on the USA Network. Big show there. And then Thursday, we got College Football Thursday. Week 4 edition. Great matchups. Of course, the headline game, obviously, Notre Dame and Georgia. So many other great ones to get into as well. And then next Friday night, we do it all again for the Week 3 edition of NFL Friday. So we're going to be on every night. Quite frankly, we can't wait. So much exciting content. We can't wait to bring it all to you. The best show with the best content for all you wonderful fans out there. That's how we do it. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our Clash of Champions preview, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock. And in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Dede Woodson, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 4-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy all the college football action. And until tomorrow night for our Clash of the Champions preview, you've been watching Week 2 of Strictly Sports NFL Friday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com, also on StreamYard.com as well. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.